Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen, and in today's video, we are going to be taking a look at one of our good old friends, David Lucas. Now, for those of you that are unaware, David Lucas here is a comedian, and I guess David got his big break through appearing on the Kill Tony comedy show hosted by Tony Hinchcliffe. But as of recently, David Lucas has come under some fire after his appearance on Matan Evans' podcast, and this was a very bizarre appearance by David Lucas. He was making so many out-of-pocket comments, and I just want you guys to check this out really quickly.
What is this? What, like this?
Elephant Jew. You cute.
Come over. Get real nice and close like we're in prison. Sit that little pale booty down. What you think about this?
Why are you showing me that? That's extremely weird. Show that to him.
What you think about that?
What is this? You keep showing me like porn images.
Now, I made an entire video on David Lucas's appearance on Matan's podcast. A lot of people on the internet critique this appearance as well. And yeah, David Lucas was just being so strange. As you've seen in the one clip I just showed you, he was showing the 17-year-old Matan porn. Okay, so this is very suspect behavior from the grown man David Lucas, and the way that he acted on Matan's podcast, you never see him act that way on Kill Tony. And speaking of Kill Tony, well, David Lucas has made his much anticipated return to comedy on the Kill Tony stage in Tony's most recent show. So we are going to check out David Lucas's most recent minute on the stage, okay? He's supposed to be a comedian. He's supposed to be a comic. Check this out right now and let me know if you laugh at any of this shit.
I hate I never was able to go to a Diddy party. Because I know them hors d'oeuvres were off the chain, you know what I'm saying? Like Diddy would have got me with the food. I would have been at that bitch eating exotic cheese. It's like, y'all said this was ostrich? I would have ate some of that food and been in his fucking closet with one of his robes on, dancing. Like 1,000 bottles of baby oil is crazy to me, bro, it is. Like Diddy had so much oil at his house that Biden ordered a drone strike. It's like, what the... Like, I feel if you got 1,000 bottles of anything, you should go to prison, no questions asked, you know? Like, nigga, 1,000 bottles of black pepper, take your ass to prison. Tony was probably at the prison with bail money to get Diddy out.
So David Lucas got absolutely no pop from the crowd, had to laugh at his own jokes, only had a bunch of Diddy jokes, and ended all the Diddy jokes with a Tony you gay joke. David Lucas is clearly washed, and he's not a full-fleshed out comedian. He is a roaster, and you may not like to believe it, but there is a total difference in the approach to comedy. That's why clearly David Lucas struggled on this mic. And of course, after David Lucas is done laughing at his own jokes on stage, you can't write this shit. This is a horrible look. David Lucas goes on to the roasting Tony part of the show where he calls Tony gay, but this time David Lucas tries to roast this guy, Rick Glassman, and this is a start of a feud between these guys. So I thought this was very interesting. Rick Glassman obliterated David Lucas with one line. Check this out.
Hell yeah, what's up, Tony? You got Rick Glassman up in this bitch.
Yeah.
Young Howard Stern looking ass nigga, boy, the fuck?
That's funny stuff.
So Rick Glassman totally no-sells whatever David Lucas's little Howard Stern joke was here. He just replies, yeah, that's really funny stuff. And David Lucas, who's supposed to be the comedian, the roaster, just laughs at Rick Glassman. So I think David Lucas definitely took this stone-cold response to heart. And you're going to realize for the rest of the show, David Lucas is kind of targeting Rick Glassman and trying to get on his ass, man. So check this out right now.
But Tony doesn't have to sell that pussy anymore because he gets to upload that pussy. Hit it. All right.
Rick Glassman, you got the sweater on of a nigga that got 3 cats. Shut your motherfucking ass.
That is true.
That motherfucker got 3 cats and a goddamn ball of yarn in his living room. Fuck you talking about with that dumbass sweater on, bitch. You look like one of them kids at the elementary school whose mom is a teacher. You know what I'm saying? Rick Glassman looked like he sit down to pee, motherfucker. You look like the type of nigga take tissue and pat his dick hole when he done peeing.
I'm coming.
Yeah, you look like a fucking idiot.
Hey, shut your ass up, you bitch ass nigga. Oh, you got a motherfucking heart on your shirt, nigga. What the fuck?
Listen, guys, I'm sorry, but for a comedian, dude, the bar is low if you're David Lucas. He just told Rick Glassman, you look like you sit down when you pee. I mean, look at Rick Glassman's face. Look at him squirming around. He's clearly just making fun of David Lucas. And so does Jeff Dye when he says, yeah, you look like an idiot. And he is mocking David Lucas's simple roasting, quote unquote, comedic style. And David Lucas knows that. That's why he tells Jeff Dye to shut up because you have a heart on your shirt.
That nigga Rick Glassman look like he got a Pokemon collection. That motherfucker look like he got a $10,000 Pokemon card.
Well, I will say I do sit to pee a lot of the time, and I do collect Magic the Gathering cards. You are hilarious.
I just want to slap this nigga. I don't know.
Tony?
Okay, this might be the funniest joke that David Lucas has performed tonight, threatening to slap Rick Glassman when his shitty little jokes don't work. And I'm sorry, they're not jokes, they're roast, as David Lucas tells Rick Glassman, you look like you own Pokemon card collections. Like, dude, that's the kind of shit that we said to each other in 7th grade at the school lunch table. Like, what is this? And Rick Glassman's reaction was really good. He was like, yeah, I got a few card collections. Once again, you're hilarious. And again, David Lucas, just like in the Matan interview, he cannot handle not being funny, not being perceived as funny, being the nail in situations. So when the joke is not reciprocated well, he threatens physical violence to Rick Glassman. Man, I really want to slap your ass right now. Like, oh my God, David Lucas, your 500-pound ass is really putting the fear of God in all of us, dude. Calm the fuck down.
No, I got one. This isn't
I
really
love
my
it.
genre. I don't do this kind of stuff. But
Yeah.
the Whoopi Goldberg thing, I was thinking I could call you, man, this black dude looks like Sister Mary Clarence Thompson.
See what I'm saying?
There you go. The
You gotta
roast.
take that dumbass sweater off, nigga.
The roast
but-
styling.
You out here looking like you.
No, hold on one second.
Let's all talk
one
at the
second.
same time.
I got it. Did it not work because it wasn't funny, or do you guys?
It wasn't good.
Well, let me just ask my question, Clarence.
You know
Thompson.
the answer.
Does everybody know Sister Mary Clarence?
Rick Glassman. Do niggas know who Clarence Thomas is?
Sister Mary Clarence is Whoopi Goldberg in the Sister Act movies.
But see, when you gotta explain a joke, it don't
You
hit
might be a
hard.
redneck.
Right.
Does
You
it
might be
feel-
a
does it?
Okay, before I say anything about David Lucas, I don't know if Rick Glassman was trying to purposely mimic David Lucas's style, but his awkward delivery on the Clarence Mary, whatever the fuck the Whoopi Goldberg joke was, it definitely didn't hit. But let's get into David Lucas explaining comedy to Rick Glassman. I kind of find this hilarious from David Lucas. Again, these moments are his funniest moments on the stage because he bombed on his set. He bombs in these interviews with Matan. And this guy had to resort to saying, yo, I just want to slack Rick Glassman sometimes. Like, yo, this guy is not funny. David Lucas cannot explain comedy to anybody. His whole style of comedy is roasting. And listen, I'll give you my David Lucas. Are you ready? Yo, Tony, you so gay that yo booty hole smell like the YMCA. Do you see how easy that is? Do you see what I'm saying here? That didn't take a setup or anything, and I think that's like, you know, the reason that Rick Glassman and the other guy here really ain't fucking with David Lucas at all.
But see, when you gotta explain a joke, it don't
You
hit
might be a
hard.
redneck.
Right.
Does
You
it
might be
feel-
a
Does it?
All right, you guys are.
You ever like found interest in a man?
And of course, after David Lucas says, if you have to explain the joke, it's not funny, Rick Glassman says, well, you must be a redneck. And David Lucas says, well, you must be the F word that rhymes with maggot. And I can't believe that David Lucas said that on the stage with Tony. I mean, come on, give him a warning. At least tell Tony to cover his ears, because you know David. See, Tony gay. See, David Lucas, that is how you do comedy, my friend. And just like on the Matan Evan podcast, when met with some confrontational like verbiage, David Lucas resorts to this homoerotic verbiage as after he asked Rick Glassman if he was a F word, he also asked him, have you ever had a interest in men? Like, why every time David Lucas gets into some kind of roasting situation where he's supposed to be a comedian, he goes to this insane degree of like homoerotic vernacular, okay? I don't know. I just find this strange. So the entire time David Lucas was on stage, I clearly felt some kind of tension between him and Rick Glassman, and I really like Rick Glassman's sarcastic, little fucking quirky XD vibe, right? He really did not give in to David Lucas's little roasting tactics. And when he tried to roast with David Lucas, then David Lucas started asking him, "Are you the F word? Do you have an interest in men?" This is very strange, and I believe the entire time I was watching this, there was a clear tension between these two men. And you know, people may say that I'm reaching with this observation because they shook hands at the end of the set, but a few days ago, David Lucas actually released this part specifically of the confrontation with Rick Glassman on his YouTube channel, and he titled the video, "David Lucas and Tony Hinchcliffe destroy Rick Glassman, bro, and return to kill Tony." And I actually want to show you a few comments on the official video that David Lucas posted. Okay, so these are supposed to be his fans in the comments, so let's take a look at a few of them. Jim Ross, good old JR, says, "That exaggerated laugh designed to hide all his shame and insecurities." 585 says, "David Lucas laughs at his jokes more than anyone." White Buffalo says, "David still hasn't recovered from Matan." And the last comment that I want to highlight here before we end this video, which I found very interesting, is a comment from Austin Williams, and it reads, "Where can I find the argument between David and Jeff?" So not only did David Lucas have some tension with Rick Glassman and make a assman out of himself, but apparently there is some footage that Tony cut out of this show where Jeff Dye and David Lucas got into an argument. So I find that very interesting, and I find it also very interesting how David Lucas can piss off all these respected comedians, these individuals in the comedy world, and he thinks it's just people are hating on him. No, it's because you're a one-dimensional act. I mean, you have to insult people, and that's your only form of comedy. Whatever happened to setting up clever jokes, punchline, you know, the whole spectrum of comedy. David Lucas is only one gender, and that is roast. So very one-dimensional, very bland. Tony's investment has failed, and I'm actually looking forward to finding this David Lucas and Jeff Dye argument. But what did you guys make out of David Lucas's epic return to shill Tony, bro? I mean, David Lucas makes fun of Tony for being gay all the time, but he's practically on his knees for him. He looked so terrible against Rick Glassman when they were like, you know, sparring verbally. He had to go down this homoerotic path, just like he did on the Matan podcast. Such awkward stuff. What do you guys make out of this entire situation? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. When you do, make sure you put on the bell notifications. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and play my music.
What we do here is go back.